My sister-in-law wore my dead mother's wedding ring to my engagement party, and when I asked her to take it off, she laughed and said, "Finders keepers." My name is Mara, and I need to tell you what happened over the last 6 months, because I still can't believe I lived through it. My mother passed away 2 years ago. Before she died, she gave me one thing, her wedding ring, a simple gold band with a small sapphire. She told me, "This is yours. Don't let anyone take it from you." I kept it in a locked box in my apartment. Only 3 people knew where it was: me, my fiancé David, and David's sister, Renata. Renata never liked me. From the first dinner I had with David's family, she made little comments about my job, my clothes, my background, as she called it. David always brushed it off. "She's just like that," he'd say. "She'll warm up." She never did. 2 weeks before our engagement party, I noticed the lockbox looked slightly different. The latch wasn't sitting right. I didn't think much of it at the time. I was busy, stressed, planning a party for 80 people. I should have checked. The night of the party, I was greeting guests near the entrance when I saw her. Renata standing by the dessert table, laughing with David's aunts, and on her finger, my mother's ring. My mother's sapphire catching the light exactly the way it used to catch it on my mother's hand. I felt the floor tilt under me. I walked over and I asked her, quietly, calmly, because I didn't want a scene, "Renata, that's my mother's ring. Can I have it back?" She looked at me, smiled, and said, "Finders keepers, Mara. You should really invest in a better lock." If you've ever had someone take something from you and act like you're the one being dramatic for wanting it back, hit that like button right now, because this story is about to get so much worse before it gets better. I asked David to step in. He pulled Renata aside, and I heard pieces of their conversation. "It's just a ring," she told him. "She's not even really family yet." David didn't defend me the way I needed him to. He asked her to give it back for tonight and said they'd sort it out later. Later. As if my mother's ring was a scheduling conflict. I went home that night without the ring. David slept on the couch, not because I asked him to, but because I couldn't look at him. The next morning, he told me Renata had borrowed it because she thought it was a family heirloom she was entitled to try on, and that she'd meant to ask. Meant to. She had broken into a locked box in my apartment and meant to ask. I decided I wasn't going to yell. I wasn't going to beg. I was going to be smart. I called my cousin, who's a lawyer, and asked her one question. If I could prove theft, what were my options? She told me 2 things. File a police report, and if I had any kind of security footage or witnesses, use them. I remembered then that my apartment building had cameras in the hallway. I hadn't even thought to check. Subscribe now if you think a woman should never have to prove her own mother's memory belongs to her. Because what that camera showed changed everything. The footage showed Renata entering my apartment on a day I was at work, using a spare key David didn't know she had, one she must have taken from his place without telling him. She was in there for 11 minutes, long enough to find the lockbox, force the latch, and take the ring. I filed a police report, not because I wanted my sister-in-law in handcuffs, but because I wanted it documented, official, undeniable. I sent David the footage. I watched him go quiet for a long time before he finally said, "I didn't know she had a key." The week after, David confronted Renata with his parents present. I wasn't in the room, but David told me later that when she was shown the footage, she stopped calling it borrowing. She admitted she'd taken it because she felt David was marrying beneath the family and wanted to remind me that some things aren't really mine to have. Some things aren't really mine to have. My own mother's ring. If you believe family loyalty should never come at the cost of someone else's grief, comment loyalty below, because we are almost at the moment this whole family finally saw who Renata really was. David's parents, to their credit, did not defend her. His mother cried when she saw the footage, not for Renata, but because she said it reminded her of watching her own mother lose things to people who felt entitled to them. David's father told Renata she needed to return the ring immediately and apologize, in person, without excuses. She showed up at my apartment 3 days later. She handed me the ring without looking at me and said, "I'm sorry," in the flattest voice I have ever heard a human being use. I took the ring. I didn't say it was okay because it wasn't. Here's the twist nobody in that family saw coming. David's parents decided that at our wedding, instead of giving a toast about the couple like tradition, David's mother stood up and told the story. The real story. About my mother's ring, about grief, about respect, in front of every single relative who had ever taken Renata's side out of habit. Renata sat in the third row in silence, while 80 people learned exactly what she had done. She didn't come to the reception afterward. Nobody chased her down. I wear that ring on a chain around my neck now, tucked under my dress at every big event, close to my heart, where no one else's hands can reach it. My mother told me not to let anyone take it from me. For 11 minutes, someone did. But in the end, it came back to exactly where it belonged. If this story moved you, hit subscribe so you never miss the next one, and tell me in the comments, what would you have done if you were me in that hallway, watching someone else's finger wear your mother's ring?